everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shay, this is Sage, and today we're going to do something pretty basic. We're just going to go through and groom her overall and work on her mane and tail. I definitely like to keep them braided as much as possible. She can get them tangled very easily, and her tail is so very thin that I try to conserve as much as possible with her. She's not got it thin like an appy, but it's pretty dang thin. So today we're gonna just go through, do her braids on her mane and tail, do an overall grooming for her. She's really like gonna take a nap. The sunshine is so nice.
This clip here, I'm just removing Sage's blanket. I always pull it up and over her head. Some horses don't like that, so just be careful if that's what you choose to do. Sage just doesn't care. Here I'm just using what's called a shedding blade. Sage really loves it on the bottom of her neck. It's very itchy, and it is shedding season, so I like to use this first and really pull out the bulk of the dead hair from her coat. You guys should have seen the ground. It was ridiculous. Here I'm using what's called a hard bristle body brush. I am using this in very short, quick strokes to pull up excess dirt from the skin and all the leftover hair that the shedding blade didn't get. I use this over her abdomen too, as well as her legs, to get all of the mud off. It gets pretty gnarly right now. We don't have great mud maintenance, so this tool is really great to be able to get a bunch of the mud clumps off without destroying the sensitive skin. Here I'm just demonstrating the difference between the hard bristle brush and the soft bristle brush. Here I'm using the soft bristle brush to be able to pull up the last bit of dirt, dust, and hair that's left over. This brush really does a good job of getting the coat really shiny because you're using the natural oils that are on the skin and almost brushing that back into her coat. So it's removing all that dirt and everything, but it makes their coat look super shiny. I use this also once over on the legs as well as the face. I don't use the hard bristle brush on the face, but I do use the soft one to kind of pull up any sort of dirt or mud. Here I'm using a hoof pick to pull out all of the rocks, dirt, mud, anything that's kind of built up in her feet. She doesn't have shoes on right now, so her feet are pretty gnarly. Be careful with how you clean a back leg on a horse. I always hook my knee under to keep it a little bit safer for me. A horse really can't pull away as well and try to kick you. Sage doesn't kick, but I always play it safe. With her, I'm very slow about putting her foot down too. Here I'm using mane and tail detangler. It's something I've used for years, so I just continue to use the same product, but it does its job. Here I'm using the wide tooth comb to be able to pull the tangles out. I don't like using the fine tooth comb just because it does yank everything out and rip the hair out instead of pulling through the tangles. I'm working bottom to top here to avoid yanking through all those tangles. Same thing with the tail. I'm really concentrating the detangler in there, making sure it's fully saturated. You guys can see here too, I'm going through again with the wide tooth comb all the way from the bottom up to the top. Here you can see I'm starting to braid the tail. I do it very loose in the beginning, and about halfway down I'll start to get a little bit tighter. I don't like doing it very tight at the top because I feel like it just pulls the hairs out and it's a little bit more uncomfortable for the horse. They might start to rub it out. Here I'm just showing on the tail how loose it is at the beginning compared to how tight it is at the bottom. This tool, I absolutely have no idea what it's called, so tough one. Braiding bands. These honestly aren't my favorite bands. They tend to break really easily, but they're what I had in my tack box. I always start my braids just in front of the withers. I like to keep a portion that's not braided just so that she doesn't have braids sitting underneath the saddle pad. This tool I'm just taking to be able to divide the sections very evenly. It does create really small braids, but I prefer that. Same thing as the tail. I keep it very loose in the beginning and don't tighten up the braid until about halfway down. Here's just a different view for you guys, try to make it a little bit clearer. You can see at this point that I'm using that tool to really divide out the sections, make them very even braids. Again, keeping it really loose until about halfway down. That's when I finally tighten up the braid and throw a band on. I'm speeding through all this process here, but in just a few seconds you're going to see one of my favorite clips of Sage. I believe she was waking up from a nap and was in some sort of dream because it was the cutest thing.
What? What was that? What was that? Were you taking a good nap? Hi, what was that? What do you see, huh? What? Oh my gosh, that was so cute.
Going back to braiding here, I'm just speeding through the rest of this process. I think I did a total of 27 or 28 braids in her mane. It's a lot of braids, but I feel like it looks really good by the end of it, and it's nice because it keeps her mane very well maintained. Typically, horses have a bridle path here. I just haven't clipped one on Sage, but I like to still do the braids so that they're out of the way, and when her bridle lays down, it sits in between braids, so it's not really pulling. With her forelock, I decided to try something different. I did kind of a top braid and bottom braid. I typically will do like a French braid, but I feel like it continues to pull on the hair and it's very uncomfortable for her.
So I was gonna show you guys really quick how disgusting my hands get. I mean, ew. This is what happens when you don't wash your horse's mane before you put it into tangler and braid it.
Here you guys can see how loose it is at the top, all the movement compared to the middle versus the end of the braid where there's really not a whole lot of movement. Here I'm using the Bronco Fly Spray. I use this primarily for ticks in the area because it is still early enough that there's not a lot of flies, but she does have quite a few ticks. My pony's so clean. It's definitely not show-worthy cleanliness. There's definitely quite a bit of staining, but this is what I like to do to get all of that extra hair off of her, get the mud off, get her nice and clean and prepped for the week.
I know, sugar. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below if you have any questions or videos you want to see in the future. And we will see you guys next time. Ready for food? Are you ready? We'll go? Let's go. Ooh, look at the highlight. Look at that. Okay. Let's calm down. No, 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 you're gonna knock. Stop, 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 stop. Grooming. Male. A general. Big yawn. Can we continue? Oh. Oh, big yawn. Oh, God, that was a big yawn. Stop yawning. We're done yawning. We're done yawning. You're gonna make me yawn. Stop. Why? Are you done now? No? Another one? What you doing? Big yawn. Yeah, boop. Daisy. Shut up. Quiet. No one cares. Daisy. No. No. I think she's over it. I think she's done. Oh, you don't want that today. Does it smell like coffee? It smells like coffee. It smells like coffee. Can I have kisses? Can I have just a little smooch ups? Oh, thank you. Just a little. Oh, thank you. Oh, good.